What's going on, fam? What's going on? Rise and grind, rise and grind. Today is Friday, August 21st. Let's get straight into it. Before we get into the charts, I have two watches for today. Before we get into those, though, I want to point out a couple things that we should know about. So first is we have some data 15 minutes after open, right? So 9:45 Eastern. Some manufacturing data. It may not be too significant, but we do have that hanging over our heads. Also, today is OPEX. What is OPEX? Option expiration. So as you know, every Friday contracts expire, right, on these names. So that's on a weekly basis. Now they also expire on a monthly basis as well too, every third Friday of the month, which is today. And then they also expire on a quarterly basis too, right? So every it's like March, June, September, December, or something like that. And that's what quad witching is, right? So we got OPEX today. What to know about OPEX is we can be very volatile and we can chop, right? We can not move. So just keep that in mind. So how do we battle against this? I don't recommend taking no zero DTEs today, no same day expirations, right? So anything I get in today, I will be looking at next week contracts just to avoid any kind of chop or extra volatility, right? Some more insurance on our contracts, right? So we got to get everything going as much in our favor as we can, right? Because we trading, so you know it's the odds is already against us. So why add more risk, right? So let's get into it. So yeah, I wouldn't take any same day expirations today. So I have two watches today, SPY and Amazon. Let's go ahead and break down this SPY. We've been hitting SPY all week because we offer key levels. It has been pretty choppy though, right? So today we did finally get a nice little move down after we lost this 767 demand, this hourly demand. This is the hourly chart on SPY, right? So we've been talking about this all week, and we finally broke down out of it today, right? So you can see it's been holding as a floor here. It was once the roof. We broke out, came, bounced here again, bounced here, and then today we finally failed, right? So we did catch the downside. We took the rejects, and today we're watching the same level, right? We're watching that same level, 767 to 768 zone on SPY. And just looking for a retest, right? So we can also go upside as well too. So if we get above 768 and hold, then it's going to be upside, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go ahead and start to see highs. But for right now, I like this retest, 767, 768 level on SPY, and we got a couple things, right? So not only do we have this demand, which now is potentially going to be our top, our supply here, we also have the 50 MA. This blue line here is the 50-day moving average, right? And then if we also throw on a fib retracement, right, we take swing high, swing low, we zoom in a bit, we can see that this lines up right with the 50% and the 618 golden pocket fib, right? So these are very good reject zones, and it's right in our zone, right? So remember yesterday we talked about confluences. We have multiple confluences here, right? So we have three confluences at this level. So this should be a pretty straightforward trade. So 767, we come up if we get a nice failure, a nice reject. We could take some downside, and then we can just risk above highs. If we come up and reclaim and hold this level, then we can take some upside, right? So just be careful of the break above and the fail or the reject and fail to go higher, right? So just remember, you don't want to be first to the party. Let the move happen. Let the direction be picked, right? Let it break, and let it, if it's going to break out, let it break out. If it's going to fail, let it fail, and then we will get in on the retest, right? We don't want to be first to the party, especially on OPEX day, right? So that's what I got on SPY. Simple, very simple today. 767, 768. We may even see some reaction around the 766 level. So let's keep that on watch as well too, because we do got yesterday's pre-market was 766.5, point 6 area. So we can watch that as well too. But I like SPY in this area. So you see I got this box drawn out. And I'll just be waiting for that. I did implement a new rule for myself, and that rule is no entries the first 15 minutes. Trading the first 15 minutes can be very stressful because it just moves very volatile, and more times than not the direction for the day is not even picked within that first 15 minutes. So we want to wait for that first 15-minute candle to close, see if we can get some direction, and then we'll go from there. Um, another thing, right? So I said we have three confluences. We got four confluences, right? Because if I drop a trend from these highs here, or these lower highs, this lines up with our area too, right? So we have a lot of confluences right here at the 767, 768 level. So this is on high watch for SPY today. And just remember, it's OPEC, so I would not take any same day contracts, right? They may be very cheap today, but don't let that draw you in, because there's a strong chance we can chop. And we already been chopping pretty much all week, right? Price action hasn't been the best. So if you've been able to trade these conditions, congrats. And it's Friday, so keep the risk tight. Don't get back any gains, and let's make sure we close the week green. And next week is it's the last week of the month. Well, I believe Monday after next is the last day. So last full week of the month is next week. And then we also have a couple things next week. We have NVIDIA earnings. I believe it's on Wednesday. So that's going to be significant. And then we also have the Jackson Hole Symposium on August 27th to the 29th, right? So that's going to be the Fed chair, which is now Kevin Warsh. They'll be there and he'll be speaking and everything. So we can look at hints as far as what's happening economically and everything like that with rates and everything. So that's what we got. So SPY, yeah, easy day on SPY. You can see, right? Real clean chart. So all we're looking for is a failure of this 767, 768, or a break and hold. And then we got entries, right? So if we get downside entries, my first target is going to be yesterday's low, right? Post-market low, which is 762. And then below that, we have 760. Why 760? This is a nice psychological level. And if we zoom out and look left, it's previous all-time high. Previous all-time high, right? So there may be some buyers right here. And if we zoom in here, we can see 760, right? We got a nice strong buy right here, right? It held as resistance and then it broke strong, right? So bulls are probably sitting right there at 760. If we get below 760, then we have a gap fill down to 757. There's a gap right here. If we go to the daily chart real quick, we can see there's a gap, right? There's a gap. So notice we do got sellers on all time frames from the weekly down on SPY. So this does look more bearish than anything. We got rising volume. We have been red for 5 consecutive days, right? We have been red for 5 consecutive days. So let's not rule out the upside. And notice that we are probably going to be opening up within yesterday's range, right? So we don't want to take no mid-range entries. I only like this at this 767, 768 level. So that's what we got on SPY. And then Amazon, right? So small list today. We'll keep it simple. Amazon. What I like about Amazon is I've been watching this for like 2 weeks now. We caught some of the downside over here, and then ended up coming down to fill this gap right here, and it's kind of bouncing, kind of bear flagging. If you ask me, looks pretty consolidated right now. But what I like on Amazon is, let's go to the weekly. I want to see us come up and retest last week's low, which is 262.4, last week's low, and it's pretty much right under it right now, pre-market. So we're gonna check that out and everything, see how we're doing with that. But basically, I want to see us retest that, and I want to see a failure. I want to see a failure of that 262.4 for some more downside, because Amazon does look pretty bearish still. We got sellers on all time frames from the weekly down, right? So the trend is your friend. We're not gonna fight this trend. And then another thing too is we still have this earnings gap. So let me clean this up a bit. This is the daily, right? We still got this big old, remember they had a really good earnings. So we still got this gap. So if we can get rejects off of this last week's low, right? We see we bounced off right here. We can fill this gap. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen today. Most likely is probably not. but this could be a good swing entry too. So if we do hit this, then our first target, I'll probably aim to target this area right here, which is 258. That's a nice $4 move, and then we can target this 253 right here, and then you got the whole gap, right? So we'll trail stops and ride the trend if we get a good trending day. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do. So that's Amazon. Straightforward, real simple. 262.4. That's all we gotta do is just wait for that. For the upside, I'm not convinced on the upside on Amazon, so I would take the downside if we do get it though. Another thing that I like is Meta. Not sure if I'll trade it though, but Meta is decent. I wanted to see it above 550. Nice psychological level, and then that's yesterday's high. And then you see we're inside the previous day range. So this is a consolidation phase right here. And if we end up breaking above this 550, strong chance we can go up and fill this gap, right? Which goes up to 568. So that's an $18 move. So let's see if Meta opens and comes back to 550 and holds, then that could be potential entries. But like I said, I wouldn't take any contracts that expired today. So that's nice. And what I like about this also too is that it's off of this higher time frame daily demand here. You can see the previous times we've been here, we have nice moves to the upside, right here, popped up here, right here, popped up here, and back over here, popped up, right? So we're looking for a nice hold of this demand, higher time frame demand, and first target should be this gap fill, right? So the entry of the gap is about 558, and then the top of the gap is about 568. So it's a $10 gap. So we're looking for that on Meta as well. I know I said I got 2 watches, but we got 3. We're gonna look at Meta too. So yeah, we'll look at that. So all right, we'll keep it simple. We got those 3 watches. Keep this video short. And that's our game plan for today. So I'll be live in the Up Top Trading Discord, live trading as we do every day. And yeah, let's get it, man. Y'all trade safe.